Hey!
Hi! Long time no see.
Happy New Year!
Woo!
Guys, before we get started, something super important. Officially an award-winning podcast.
Officially!
Official! Yeah.
Yeah. We won Outstanding Adult Series at the Canadian Podcast Awards. So thank you so much, Canada, for recognizing how adult we are.
I was like, oh, I'm like, we're not that adult. Like, talk about Kyle's testicles like every 10 episodes. Like, I'm pretty sure we're.
Yeah.
And I feel like our conversations about poop, like the way we talk about it, that's adult.
Also,
no,
our titles. If
we're
you go back
definitely
and read
adult.
all of our episode titles, they're very adult.
No,
Yeah.
we're definitely adult. But in my mind, I'm like, how? How are we? Like, I don't know.
Go back.
I'm
read the
so
titles.
child friendly. Like
I don't even swear. I say like sugars. Like,
yeah. Like I say fuck once in a while, but I'm mindful about it.
right? Like, it's educational.
Oh man, I'm 4 noms and 1 win. That 1 win still takes us to like award winning.
I know.
So,
That's
yeah.
better than no win.
It's true. It's true. I mean, when you're right, you're
That's right. Yeah. Oh, sorry, that's hot. Oh, fuck. Ow, I'm burning my fingers. I'm drinking coffee before Don Marie asks.
I figured.
I was like,
I know,
I was
I
telling
asked.
you
I know.
why.
I know. You know, I know.
Now we know. We're like, I'm watching you.
Okay. Jessica, what are you drinking since Sonia already kickstarted this?
Okay, so I got a lot of alcohol from my in-laws, which is funny because they know Chris doesn't drink. So they gave us a bottle of like what's that rich stuff, Veuve Clicquot or whatever, the champagne, the like $80 bottles.
I don't
Anyways.
I was too rich for my. If it's more than 12
I know
bucks, I'm not buying it.
The rosé is like 100, like the regular is like 80, and they give us one every year for New Year's Eve. So they gave us one of those, and then they gave me 2 bottles of this wine, which they knew I'm the only one that drinks. So it's Les Grands Moutiers Vouvray, Appellation d'Origine Protégée, 2021. So there is that. It's a white wine. It's a white wine of some kind.
Then they just threw a bunch of like French words in there and just be like, that's what our wine's name is now.
It's from the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
It's a protege. First of its kind, right? Second of its kind.
Is the protege? It's like, oh, this is my protege. Like they're better than me, or no? Protege is
they're younger than me, but better than me.
Yeah, I think like a young let's go mind balance.
What's the definition of protege, and how does that relate to wine?
I'm drinking water, guys, and I just finished it. So
going through these holidays like a champ, staying hydrated. Love to see it.
Okay, why is okay? So it's a person, especially a young one, and then endowed is like underlined with exceptional qualities or abilities.
Okay, I just think of penis. If I hear endowed, that's all my mind goes.
That's so like fucking kids walking around with a fucking horse hammer.
Fucking tripod.
And what does it mean for wine? It's a highly I don't care about the child and youth. What does it mean for wine? Oh, Prodigy Vineyards is a person. Why does it keep saying exceptional talent and powers? It's powers. Why? It even says #1 Prodigy Vineyards in winery, and then it goes to Prodigy and noun, a person with exceptional. Fucking no.
Stop it.
It's on their website. Okay. Does not disappoint. Living in Frankfort, Kentucky. I don't fucking care. What does your prodigy mean?
It just means fancy, okay?
Prodigy's wines are very diverse and complex in nature, ranging from dry whites and reds. So it's a dry?
Is it dry white? I don't know. It tastes like wine. It's not bitter.
No, it says it doesn't just say. It's just Prodigy. They're just like Prodigy's a kid. Maybe they were gifted as a child and now they're like
They're like
struggling adults.
they gave the baby like grape puree and he just like squeezed it into wine. They're like Prodigy.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm never
Makes
gonna
the
figure
wine
it
by
out.
hand, just squeezing it. So are you just having just straight coffee, Don or Sonia?
Well, no. Well, before I had some. This is like no. I took so it wasn't kicking in, so I took like 2 more, and like that was a mistake, but it's fine.
How long between you taking the first round and the second round?
I waited 30 minutes.
That is not. You're supposed to wait 2 to 4 hours for the full effect. No.
I know, but I was like, oh, like it's maybe I don't know why.
You're
Maybe
like, no, I know my body. I know what I can handle. Okay, thank you.
I know, like I know the rules, but I was just like, I don't absentmindedly. I'm like, let's get this party started. Like I don't know why. I know
Okay,
I shouldn't.
I
take
think
more,
that
but-
sometimes, and then I just end up in bed early because I'm like, I'm too high to do anything now.
Well, it's late. We record late. It's fine. I gotta go to bed soon anyway. It's good.
Like, get this party started. He goes to sleep.
That's
That
the
is
party.
Yeah.
Party.
Oh man. Oh, I think we wanted to get started with autism.
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
I will. So there's a top podcast right now that is even above Joe Rogan on Spotify right now. Okay.
Joe Rogan's gone down quite a bit because, like, isn't like what's her name, Kelsey something is like up there now too.
Yeah. But this one's been like number 1 for the past week, okay? And it's called the Telepathy Tapes. Now me, I'm not a podcast connoisseur. If I'm listening to a podcast, I specifically sought it out. I don't go exploring for podcasts. So I don't listen to anything without a recommendation. So I personally did not hear this podcast. But my husband Chris got a TikTok about it that he did send me, as well as a random message from someone from my high school who my last message to was in 2011. Okay, so it's been a while
A
since
few
we
days.
spoke, just a few days. Okay, and they just say, "Hey Jess, I've just started to listen to the Telepathy Tapes. Not sure if you've had the chance yet, but it's so fascinating. I'd love to hear your take on it. I've been following your journey with Lyric from afar." Now, I sent you guys in chat the link to the trailer. Did you guys watch it at all?
I didn't.
No,
I
I was
busy.
at work. I can't listen to stuff at work.
Okay. No. You fine. Let me see if I can do this on this browser. So if you're listening, the link will be below because I'm gonna cut it out so they don't sue us. But if you're watching on YouTube, the link will also be below. So you guys can watch it on your own to see what we'll be reacting to after this. Cause I feel like I can't describe it. Now, this podcast exists to raise money for this documentary. This is the trailer for the documentary. So this is what the podcast is about and what it's raising money for, okay?
Oh, I have to. Do I have to?
You
add
have
it,
to
or-
add it, I think.
There you
Okay.
go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My son said to me, I can hear thoughts. And I said, impossible.
Okay, first off, I God, so can I.
You
My
too.
thoughts.
It's called an inner monologue.
Okay. Sorry, that part got me right away. I was hooked. Okay.
And he said to me, you don't get the kind of gifts that I have if you lie.
Let's please multiply two numbers and see if he gets it.
Okay, what is it?
9, 0, 0.
Unbelievable.
1.
Maybe shuffle again, Dr. Powell.
This is their moms working with them, by the way.
Yeah.
I feel like that's important.
So he got the plus too.
I was wondering, because I was looking at the 2 the whole time, and I saw his hand going somewhere else.
What is this phenomena happening? Why are his mind and my mind completely connected?
I knew that a lot of people would think, boy, Diane's gone off the deep end. But
That's the risk any scientist takes when they challenge the current paradigm.
Joining us today to shed some light, Dr. Diane Powell.
I'm working with children who have been reported by a parent to be able to read their mind.
The data was so compelling and accurate that I had to follow it, even though I knew I was risking my scientific reputation.
I started testing them and I found that they were exceedingly accurate.
What is the next number?
3.
After the medical board took my license
There's
away,
no, like,
I had to prove my
context, like-
sanity. And once I did,
After the
I said,
medical
I'm
board
going to
took my
prove that
license.
ESP is real.
Dr. Tarrant, he's done these QEEG scans to see what's going on.
The biggest overall finding is really this increase of activation across all the brain waves. If there was
I'm
no
happy.
change, I would definitely be skeptical.
Oh, I'll wait.
You can
I'll wait.
show
It's
a
almost
consistent
done.
pattern, particularly from kid to kid.
Also, I
That's
should
how
add,
science
this doctor lost her
changes.
license.
You
She's
cannot
not a
fake
doctor
this.
anymore.
She said that right
Want
there, yeah.
answers like, where does it comes from? I want to know how and what are we supposed to do?
We can't all be crazy.
We are far more powerful than we can imagine, and the implications are huge for humanity and the planet.
I just want to say, I'm first off, like, for ASD people and non-speaking ASD people, to get them to sit still and like have those caps on their heads and poke and prod at them, and they're not reacting at all. That's like phenomenal. Like, if they were able to have their children that calm through this whole experience.
Well, it's hard to say because like there's some ASD people that don't react.
Oh no, but like it's like
know.
it's just nice to like it's good that they're able to
That they're not showing them having fits doing it.
Yeah, like
splitting
it.
fits, yeah.
I think that was deliberately, by the way, that they weren't showing fits, but
And I just, so after everyone, listeners, you went and you watched that. This is what the it says on the website, just about it. So, in a world that often dismisses the extraordinary as mere fantasy, the Telepathy Tapes dares to explore the profound abilities of non-speakers with autism, individuals who have long misunderstood and underestimated. These silent communicators possess gifts that defy conventional understanding, from telepathy to otherworldly perceptions, challenging the limit of what we believe to be real. For years, their parents and teachers have quietly witnessed these remarkable abilities, knowing that the time to share their truth would eventually come. But now, as the evidence mounts, the time has come to reveal what has been hidden in plain sight. The Telepathy Tapes.
Did they say non-speaking?
They say non-speakers with
good,
autism.
Good. That's proper terminology.
Yeah, I don't think that's proper in my, like, because is that just I didn't understand what non-speaking meant. Is that just vocal ability? Because we saw those autistic people talk.
No, so
they were communicating.
So non-speaking goes anywhere from no like words to several words. Like it's not coherent sentences. Like it's like random cut up language.
But so if it's random, how are they answering accurately?
Oh, no. They can do it's like small short sentences, like, but not.
They can't carry on a conversation.
Yeah, and it's not complete sentences. It's like
broken.
Yeah.
I still consider that speaking, though.
It is. It's just
So what's below non-speakers then? Like for those that can't communicate at all?
That's
Mute.
I don't think that. Yeah, well, no, because
Well, it can't even be mute because there's a lot of non-verbal, like they don't use spoken
So,
language, but they still communicate in other ways, sign
I wouldn't say
language,
that's autism then.
imagery.
If that's something else, that's like a
Yeah. Well, I actually had I was gonna say I was like with this. She explains she's a scientist, doctor, whatever, but when she doesn't even clarify what she means by non-speakers of autism. And I feel like if you're doing a scientific study and you're showing people speaking, you should clarify what your scientific, because like where on the autism spectrum do you become telepathic?
I think
Like
it
that
has
is
to
my
be
question. That's
below
my
one.
main question. Like where on the spectrum?
Oh, but no, I mean above
Show
3.
me.
Like yeah,
Show me
like
on the diagram.
Yeah.
that's like zone 4 plus. Okay, there's no. First of all, there is no zone 4 plus, but just
But
just
there's
that's
also
what
like
it is.
so many kids and stuff that are told, "Oh, you're nonverbal, you're not talking, blah blah," and then they hit like 10 years old, and they start talking.
Yeah.
So it's
So
like
there is delayed speech, very common with ASD individuals. Like you could go all the way up to 13 and like then start developing speech.
yeah. So
it's
again,
just
as a
not
scientist, I'm
speaking.
just
Yeah.
saying not good. Also, I don't trust doctors that have lost their licenses in
She
regards to
says it in the
autism.
video. She's like, lost my medical license or whatever, and I was just like, oh,
We
wow.
all know another famous doctor that did that, and now we're still dealing with the ramifications of that with the whole vaccines cause autism.
Oh, and don't forget taking Tylenol pregnant causes autism now too.
Oh my god.
It's mostly genetic.
It's genetic.
Yeah, it's genetic. Like I'm being
there's
sarcastic when I said that.
I'm pretty sure there still is no like they don't know what if you're doing something in the womb cause it like that. They're like it's a possibility. It no definitive like answer. It's like a possibility.
And I think I've talked about this previously, but I think like my one thing that I think is happening with the diagnosis of autism nowadays is it's actually FASD, like fetal alcohol syndrome, but doctors and stuff don't want to call the moms out. Like, and I say this as like if you can be like a low needs fetal alcohol syndrome baby, not have like a high noticeable features like facial features, like a small nose, like lots of people have that. Back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, like people drank while they were pregnant. They were like, oh, glass of wine while you're pregnant, that's totally fine. So then to have like 20-year-olds with cognitive disabilities being like, I might be autistic, totally reasonable response, as well as those kids, because you know a lot of people don't report that they drank, so that means the number we currently have is underreported. That's not to say how much of an increase, but I just feel like like a lot of the disabilities we see are just misdiagnosed because of stigma around these kind of things
that happen in the womb. like
and like I feel like as a mom, like if you see your kid fucked up, sometimes you fucked up, sometimes you didn't know better. Like people like in the 70s, they didn't know better. A lot of people were told to smoke so they could have smaller babies. Like you do what your doctor tells you to do, and sometimes it's the wrong thing.
And like smoking affects your genes. Like if you're a woman, you have your ovaries and those like you damage those and you pass those down and then those pass those down. Like
and if you have sex with a man when he's drunk, so is his sperm that night. So shit comes together how it is, and you just deal with the consequences sometimes.
So I always had a fatty liver, but they said that my risk of cirrhosis of the liver could heighten because my father had cirrhosis of the liver because he drank. Clearly, he had sex with my mom, probably under the influence. He was an alcoholic. Chances were high. And therefore, I now have problems with my liver because my dad was an alcoholic. And that's how genetics work.
You damage the fuck out of them and then you pass it down.
Generational trauma on the like genetic scale.
Yeah, the micro level. Yeah.
Also, I kind of
you.
want to start calling like fat asses, you know, like they lay like thick and that kind of stuff. I want to now start calling them fatty livers. I'm like, damn, your liver fat. Ooh.
I'm gonna blame my extra weight because I have a fatty liver. That's it. It's my fatty liver, guys.
That could be your autism power. You have X-ray vision.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure if this doctor listened to this podcast, she'd recognize that we are all non-speakers with autism.
Oh, yeah. Very
Everything I
humble.
say is a script. I watched it in a movie once.
And like there part of that trailer, she talks about, like these parents and caregivers can just understand. There's a reason for that. Is just because you are non-speaking does not mean you're non-communicating. And if you're like an absent-minded parent who's not paying attention to their child but still taking care of them, you're gonna realize your child has cues for things, and it's just gonna click in your brain. Because even though you're a shitty ass person, your brain still wants you to be a caregiver. Like, so you're like, oh, like that they're hungry. Like, even though you don't think you recognize signs, you do. And
like for infants, like they can't talk either, and parents know when they're hungry, when like they're fussy because they haven't slept as much, or when they need to go down for a nap. Like it has nothing to do, like, oh my god, you just know your child. You just know your child, period. Like,
I also did bring up the fact that like if they're telepathic, but they're still like I was very like a part of it. I was a little blunt. I was just like, okay, if they're telepathic and have the special ability to see the future or whatever they're seeing, but still are like shitting their pants and running into traffic, like how is it a useful, like it's not important to focus on that then. Like it's not bettering their lives. It's kind of like was my point about it.
Yeah.
So I was like, even if just say what is it actually doing? But you did bring up a point about the it being with the moms and stuff like that, and she says like at one point she says she because I ended up responding to my friend, okay, and I sent her like a lengthy response, and that was part near the end. I got a little blunter about it, but I was like, that's my response, and she was just appreciative. She's like, thank you, what a wonderfully detailed response. And she said, I am quite skeptical of it all myself. I'll admit some of it seems so hard to deny, but I can't help but wonder why it's only the mothers and teachers of the people who are able to be in tune with them. So apparently she's listened to the podcast. So apparently in the podcast, it's only the moms and teachers that are in tune with these kids. And I'm like, yeah, like that's how it should be.
Let's put our thinking caps on for a second, right? Now, why would those be? Maybe, just maybe, and hear me out. Those are the ones that pay attention to their kids.
Like, oh my god. Like, I was just like, oh my god, you know what they want without them asking, because at the same time every day they do this thing. No way.
It's a pattern? No.
And like, say there's like this like miraculous, they can read your mind. It's kind of like mediums, how they can be like, oh, you're thinking of this. Like
they watch your reactions to certain words.
Yes, they are reacting to how you are reacting.
Yeah.
So like
they watch for your reactions to get
yes, and like that. And very often, not often, sometimes the most famous types of ASD individuals on TV are savants. So they could be like these mind readers, miraculously, if it's true, they could be savants in body language and like being able to interpret those. Like that's, especially if it's only caregivers and mothers, they too have like memorized your little
Well, and that speaking of the savants in the media, like that was my thing too. I was like, why are we focused on like making them special? Like, no offense, but it just sounds like another way to other certain parts of the autism spectrum. And it's like it's almost like the reverse when people are like, I'm Asperger's. It's like you're still autistic. Like, dude, like calm down, stop relating yourself to a Nazi. Like, it's fine. Like, but it's just like this way, and then you're like, okay, and this group is telepathic. It's like, why can't they just be? Like, why can't they just be people? Like, people can just be people. Some neurotypicals are just people, and some autistics are also just people. And some neurotypicals are special and have these crazy talents that are also lucky enough to then get seen and then make money enough that they can then continue that thing. The average person cannot. But, you know, we have TikTok, so
yeah, there you go. They could do that. And then Dumry, you had a point before.
No, I said my points, didn't I?
Oh no, you looked like
I thought you were gonna talk.
Yeah,
No.
I was like, oh, okay, then I'm gonna say like, so my least favorite thing that this podcast is becoming popular. I hate when people like when you mention autism and you talk about it, and people are like, "What's your thing?" Yes. This is gonna fucking happen more now. I'm gonna start being like, I can tell when people have small dicks, like that.
Oh, I'm just gonna tell them that I'm so sorry about the impotence, and then move on.
Yeah,
like
right now my response is I'm a lazy piece of shit, and I'm really good at it, like that. But like, I'm gonna have to start being like, if they bring up this podcast, my response would be, oh, I can tell when somebody has herpes. That's a better one.
Yeah,
like,
you have like a 70% chance of guessing right. So
gender neutral. Oh, like I can tell when somebody has herpes. Like,
it's your gift.
This is your gift. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, even in the media, like a lot of our autistic representation is that they're like special at something. Like, even when they're trying to not be special at something, like Atypical is an example of that. It's like, oh, he goes to regular high school and does regular things, but he's also really good at drawing penguins and it's like sometimes your autism is that you're a lazy piece of shit. And you know, like that's okay.
That is
like, you're
okay.
really good at it.
Yes. Like I'm a fucking vegetable. It's fine.
Like mine is like lack of empathy. I'm really fucking good at that. Like people can tell me when their animal or person dies and I'll laugh, as we know. So like
it's fine. It's fine.
Yes.
Or that
Yeah, and I just want to say like about my friend from high school messaging me, like it was also like you're watching my daughter grow up from afar. I'm like, okay, like her journey. And I'm like,
say anything?
She's a pain in the ass. Like, I'm wiping her ass every day. If she could like be telepathic, that'd be cool, I guess. But I still would rather her wipe her ass. Like, I'd rather her be able to go to school. Like, I'd rather that than being able to tell me what number Uno card I'm holding up. Like, I'd rather that. Like,
and like the TV was in front of them and their bright colors. Like, you don't think you could see the reflection?
Skills in ABA.
Yeah.
Like these can be taught skills. Like to look at the reflection and see the number and the whatever, or to like read a sign even. Like these could be taught skills. And like I hate this because we have children with autism, but you know the term #autism mom, you know those ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I feel like
are you a mom with autism? Because then I would make sense, right? You are an autistic mother. Like you're a mother.
Or you just an autism mom, where you're a mom of a child with autism, but you call yourself an autism mom, and then you make all your social media about your autistic child, and that becomes your entire personality. And then you're an advocate for autism, which is cool, except you make that your whole personality too, because your child's disability becomes your whole personality to the point you don't have one. To the point you'll and eventually exploit your child because you have to show them off to show they're autistic. Yeah. And I feel like these moms, I mean, I wouldn't have my autistic children in a documentary with a unlicensed doctor. Personally.
No.
Like,
Oh my god.
I'm bored.
So I looked up autism superpowers because I wanted to be prepared, and I read them, and I'm like, so I personally am ADHD, so I'm autistic with ADHD. So I'm looking at these and I'm like, I'm all of these, but at the same time, none of these.
The whole thing, it feels like it's a contradiction. I'll be like, I can hyperfixate on reading, right? But I won't give a shit about any author that I read. Whereas other people can focus on authors and I don't know, idolize them, but not give a shit about their stories. And I'm like, I can't relate. It contradicts. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're focusing on the good part, the fun part, which is normal in hyperfixating.
Yeah.
But other things I won't hyperfixate on at all. I contradict myself all the time.
Oh no, because you won't hyperfixate on everything. It's only select things.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't give a shit about TV. Fuck that shit. I don't give a shit about stories on TV, but I'll hyperfixate on a certain genre. But I won't give a fuck about the author or give a fuck about TV or whatever.
Well, it's I get it. It's like I need routine, but it's so hard for me to make myself follow it. So I'm not functional anymore. I'm not a human. And I've literally been struggling this because when you live with a family, listeners, if you have a family, if you have a partner, even pets, children, and you're trying to schedule your day, well, you have to schedule that day around everyone's day. Okay, everyone's day you have to schedule around. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna wake up, have a coffee, take a shower. Well, you know what? That shower's taken. It's too late. Whoa, now you're 15 minutes behind how your day plans. So what are you gonna do for those 15 minutes? Scroll TikTok. Oh, now you're demoralized. World's on fire. You finally get in the shower. You come out. You're like, fuck. I'll make lunch. Oh no, the lyrics out of her room, so she's gonna bug you and make it so you can't cook. So now you're like, I'll have to just eat some frozen pizza. Not what I planned. I planned something healthy, but I'm not getting the chance to cook it. And then you're like, oh, I'm gonna do something else, and then someone else has to bother you. I mean, yeah, I need routine.
Schedules are stupid.
Fuck, I love a good schedule. Oh my god, I will come to a good schedule.
Well, maybe that's in here. We'll see. So one of the first
rub that minute. Yeah.
Our attention to detail. So I have great attention to detail. I used to watch people and document everything that was happening. In my real life, I can just be I see nothing, but at the same time, I see every little mark in the wall from the animals and every scratch, every piece of hair. It really depends.
Selective.
Yes, yeah. Not always. Memory. Oh, did you?
Oh no, I was just saying I get that. I get the selectiveness with I'll talk to people. Chris will be like, oh yeah, who are they? What do they do? I'm like, I don't know. And I'll say something random about a story they told me. No idea who they are though.
So memory. Again, I can remember so many fucking things. Dates, birthdays, appointments. I don't have to write that shit down. But stuff I have to do later in the day or projects I'm working on. I don't fucking remember that shit.
I feel like it's all the same. It's like it's all just like super selective.
Yeah.
You know, like, and same for me. I lost my SIN card like years ago, but I still remember my SIN number, so I never replaced it because now it's just paper and I don't want to replace it. I'm like, oh, I have it memorized. It's fine.
Yeah.
So
Kyle has mine memorized. I'm like, what's my SIN number? I'll just ask him and he'll tell me because he has it
my
memorized.
bank account number memorized. My old phone number memorized.
Yep.
My new phone number not always memorized.
No, Kyle's one of the number memories because like he remembers all of my stuff and every single postal code we ever had. Like the postal codes are the hardest part.
When I was younger, I would remember my social insurance, my health card, my bank card number, like the actual number going across, and my password. And I would remember 10 phone numbers, like the 10 people I would hang out with. I remember all those. Ask if I can remember any of them now.
Like,
only my social insurance. That's the only one I know.
You kept under the important one.
Yeah, like
the
your guys'
identity.
number I don't know. You're just in my phone and I pressed your name now. I don't have to remember your numbers.
That's right. It's muscle memory. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
Like,
and my
Oh.
bank, again,
Oh,
I just have to like press my thumb and like my bank
done.
account comes up.
yeah, it's paid for. You don't have to even
Yeah.
remember passwords anymore.
No.
They're like
It's all
secure
the
password.
biometric thing.
Yeah.
So I just like use my thumbprint and everything
Ew.
just signs in. And I'm
What
like, fucking great.
happens if you like meet a koala bear and they have the same fingerprint as you and they're out committing crimes?
Good on that koala bear. I'm just gonna say, like, maybe I can murder someone and blame it on a koala bear. Then I don't know.
I want to add one superpower I do have: visual sensitivity. So that means like
oh my god, that's ugly. Fuck, take that away. No.
but people with autism can see up to 3 times further than non-autistic. So like
Not me, I'm
non-autistic-
nearsighted.
I know. I'm like, what?
So with
That's
glasses, no, so your eyesight, your true eyesight is can be with glasses. So mine is like above 20/20. Like I can see further and clearer than Kyle, but my eyesight is deteriorating super rapidly. Like, and I'm gonna have glaucoma. Like, there's already like little warning things. So like, you know, but for now, my autistic superpower is I can see further.
I have to go back because, like, I feel because that was always my issue. Like, my eyes got so worse, I had to get a new prescription every year. Like, my one eye was like -8, and then I got LASIK, and I was like, oh my god, people can see. Like, I can go to bed and wake up and see. Like, wow, what a gift! And I'm already starting to like. What's that say, Sonny? I don't know. I can't read the menu. Give me a minute. Like I have to wait till I'm closer in line. Like that's where I'm at in my vision journey.
Do you have dry eyes? Because that can.
I smoke a lot of pot, so probably.
So try eye drops for a little while, so to bring back the hydration in your eye, and that might increase your vision. Because like dry eyes can cause straining on your eyes, which makes it struggle for your eyes to see.
I think I just have fucked eyes because my eyes are like blue and super sensitive and like.
Stop staring at the sun, bitch.
I don't, not for a while anyway. Like not since I was a kid.
That was like last week. Leave me alone.
Sometimes it's fun. You see like the big black spot, and you're like, whoa, and you blink, and it goes away, and then it's back, and you're like, whoa.
You could get that looking at fucking light bulbs. Like
I'm sure
sometimes
that's not good either.
No, it's not. Like I like do dusting and I look up and like to get the dust and like it's fucking right in my eye. Not the dust.
It does happen
light.
sometimes. I'm like smoking and then like I smoke and it like blows up in my eyeballs. I'm like, oh no! Like what do I do?
My autism power.
like blowing like the smoke away of my eyeballs. Could you imagine? I was actually imagining this earlier when we were talking. Like it's like the X-Men.
Yes,
right?
I said. I was like,
And, but no, like I'm imagining all the X-Men, all the original X-Men, right? And then just a random autistic person. And then like Wolverine comes and is like, what do you do? You know, and Storm is like, show us your power. And the autistic's just like, oh my god, have you guys seen the new Naruto?
There was already like autistic X-Men. Like they when they can change their image, they're like shifters. Like that's fucking masking. Like when they can look like you.
Rogue.
Yeah, she takes you. She like absorbs you.
Yeah, she's like I don't know who I am as a person. I have to take your traits. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, your characteristics.
Sorry about this. My bad.
My bad.
Mystique.
Yeah, she changes her entire morph. He does it too, and I'm pretty sure his personality is fucking super. I'm gonna have to like.
To be fair, I feel like all of them are kind of like autistic. Like I feel like you can make a case for every single X-Men.
The problem is, it's like autism is like fucking everything. Okay, like it's so many.
This is what I mean by not giving a strict scientific definition. We're on the spectrum.
Like have you guys watched The Good Place?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and they're like, time is Jeremy Bearimy. That's how I describe autism.
It was like 96% right. Like,
yeah, see, that's also autism. It's Jeremy Bearimy. We don't have the levels. Let's get rid of that. Let's just bring the Jeremy Bearimy autism.
I like the round chart.
Yes,
where
with
it
the
kind of
circles,
shows your strength and weaknesses in certain multiple different levels. I do appreciate that. Look for now, at least as a interim until we find something better.
I'm
But
sure VR could help, like just virtual reality. You're in the diagraph, like you're put on a certain spot of the diagraph. Like they pick you up and like this is where you belong.
I just think like some of the testing and like I went to school and I studied like autism. Like I had to take a few classes that were autism specific for ABA, but it was just very like I'm wondering in my head, like things like the Radzar, for example, how you can't administer that to someone that's non-speaking or non-communicative, you know, if they're unable to. But that's one of like the most common, like, yeah, this is how you should go get tested. Take the Radzar quiz, kind of thing. And I'm like, like maybe it's missing some things. Like, like just a smidge. Like if it's missing like 50% of other autistic people, that's a lot.
But like
in my opinion, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know numbers. 50% seems
But
like a lot to me.
For the non-speaking, it could be just a speech delay, and like you get diagnosed at like 4 as a non-speaking autistic when you're 13 you're starting to have more, and it's just something wrong with it's actually not autism but a cognitive or a developmental delay, so like it's.
And again, like non-speaking does not mean non-communicative. Like a lot of people like that don't speak end up like being able to talk with their hands, being able to use tablet communicative devices, being able to type words or spell words or use pictures and be able to communicate in that way. Some complex ideas even if they can't quite get to like the vocal ability.
Yeah.
So.
Stephen Hawking,
right? He still cheated on his wife.
Well,
like intelligence is sexy, not
with his nurse.
Sexy.
With his nurse,
like fucking robot. Oh bye bye, bye bye. Like like
we're not saying all men, but like
fucking even Stephen Hawking. Okay,
even Stephen Hawking. So
I feel like that has to be. I'm assuming that's rape, like that from that nurse. Like He could be smart, but he can't actually consent.
Why can't he? If he's cognitively aware, he just can't talk.
not.
He can't walk. How can you prove he's
Well,
not
no, you can.
cognitively
I'm just
aware
saying,
if he's
I
doing
just hate him.
scientific research and
That's
stuff?
right. I just like no. Obviously, that's so rude to say. Like
He
you're a real person.
fucking put on the moves. He was all like, "Hey, baby, you looking fine!" Exclamation point.
So I guess that
Smiley
means
emoji.
his dick worked. Like all these years, people wondered if his dick worked. If he
Ask the nurse.
fucking the maid, I have to. Although no, because you could use other parts like sex
Yeah,
isn't
maybe he was just
meant
a
to
butt
be-
guy. He's like, stick it in there harder.
I
I
just feel-
can't feel that. Like his nerve, like he only has like a little nerve feeling like up his mid back. So you have to like stir his guts.
Yeah. And his wife just would not do that, but nurses are
No.
used to poop.
You have a fucking crank? You're just
Yeah.
You say when?
What are those big ass machines you see like where they're like a fucking like it's like a jackhammer where I'm pretty sure can tear everything apart, but people are like, yeah.
He's like, oh yeah. Oh, that's as far as he can feel, you know? And he needs someone to prop him up. So
No, I don't.
Autism, yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure.
Hyperfixating on Stephen Hawking getting railed like a puppet.
You know, whatever floats your boat.
Right? We don't kink shame here.
Whatever sucks your toes, we don't care around here.
Just don't cheat on your wife.
Yeah, that's a little gross.
No. I just meant like taking advantage of like the nurse is a position of power, right? You're taking.
Oh,
care
she
of.
definitely took advantage too, but
There can, I mean, like there's consent, but like
that's
not
like
it's not true consent because it's a position of power like that.
Like, do you think he was pressuring her and he's like, I'll fire you if you leave me? She's like, no, I need this job. I'm a single mom of 2. She's like unbuttoning her nurse outfit. She's like, this is not what I want. No, Stephen, no.
Oh no.
Oh no, maybe she'll be a guest on our podcast.
Email. Like, hey, what's it like? Want to talk to us on our podcast?
Did you do it in his chair? Like, how did it go? Like,
what are the logistics?
How? Like, did you just like pick him up so gently and lay him down?
He was probably like 60 pounds. Like,
oh my God, this is terrible.
No, maybe he just used his mouth. He was like really talented that way. He's like, I can't speak, but no.
Fucking teeth. Like,
oh no.
Oh, we are not good people.
You're a white man. We're allowed to shame him.
Oh. He doesn't count in that category. Like he's his own. We're not shaming people with different abilities. We're just shaming Steve.
Hey, we're shaming him not as a disabled man getting some, but as a married disabled man getting some.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I wonder if he was telepathic.
Telepathically like jump on this dick.
He's like a kid and he's like, get me a computer, but he's just like messaging people mentally because he's like he couldn't talk until he got a computer.
And he didn't want that like in his computer, you know, because like your wife could go to your search history, so he'd have to be reading her mind and telling her in her mind, get on.
Yeah,
get on this dick.
Flaccid piece of skin meat that doesn't do anything.
Just fly against yourself, like
pretend, god damn it.
They have like this whole like strap-on collection in the background.
He has a fucking sex swing. He's the one sitting in the swing.
She's jolty.
You can just thrust him, arm strength.
Someone in the relation's got to have it, right? So I mean,
Don, get writing.
Fucking porn.
Romance.
An astrosexophist.
Market it.
Market it.
Oh no. Oh, it's not good.
So like, don't like. Okay, this is all scientists out there, right? First off, we're looking for scientists to come on our podcast. We got questions about science stuff, I'm sure.
All science stuff. We got
Just science stuff in general. So just like let us know. But also like, I feel like if you're in the middle of a scientific study, right? You're like, oh, I'm doing this serious scientific study. You're not gonna release the evidence under a paywall prior to completion, start a popular podcast without any peer review, lose your license, and then not have anyone license sign on. Like, I feel like maybe you shouldn't do that. Like,
and like the person that's doing the podcast, Kai Dennings or something like that. Like her description is, I'm a nerd for science. You fucking liar.
Liar.
Like, no, that's not science. That's like sci-fi, maybe. Like, there's a difference.
Like, not once did I hear her talk about comorbidities or genetics or any other thing in that fucking documentary, let alone a scientific definition of anything. So I'm just like, if I didn't know anything about autism or I didn't know anyone with autism, I'm just a layman, I don't know anything. And I see that, I'm like, wow, these people are psychic. Like, it's like, okay, that's not helpful. Like, did you not have a marketing team? Like, did you not talk with them about your goals, or is that your goal? Like, because you're being Joe Rogan now, you're gonna get #1. So I guess good for you. You're gonna make money, make your documentary, and then hurt a lot of the autistic people and families in the end.
We're gonna keep getting asked stupid fucking questions. We don't. Don't ask me.
This is gonna be so like my oldest, he's autistic, but he also has epilepsy, and we got that when he got his diagnosis. We'd get that, oh, have you tried marijuana? Because of that one fucking documentary about that kid with marijuana that they gave like CBD oil to and it stopped their seizures. And I'm like, are you kidding? That would have been the first thing I tried. Except you don't know his diagnosis, so you don't got a fucking clue. Like,
and like, I smoke weed all the time, and I'm pretty fucking autistic still. So I don't think that is gonna help. Like,
yeah, my in-laws are in the autism's on the rise because of what we're eating. Like the stuff in the food. That's what they agree it's not vaccines, but it's the stuff in the food. And I'm like, do you remember in the early 2000s when the ADHD, everyone was like, oh, the ADHD, everyone's getting diagnosed with ADHD nowadays. Well, a lot of those people were autistic. So that's one reason the number went up. The other reason is women are getting diagnosed now. That wasn't a thing 20 years ago, unless they were super high needs. Another reason is autistic people are fucking. Before they weren't allowed to be in relationships. So now we're fucking. So we're having babies, so there's a lot of contributing factors to the increase in autism diagnoses. Again, I still think there's also misdiagnosed because of FASD, but the therapies would be similar. So like, I don't think it's like a harm. I think it's more of like a stigma related thing.
Yeah. And like, I feel like for a lot of like neurodivergent things, like autism's like the base diagnosis, and then you just like branch on there for something more specific if you if you are. Like, I just feel like you start off with a little bit of everything, and then you go to your skill wheel and you go up it and pick.
I agree. I mean, autism is comorbid with so much shit. And like shit outside neurodivergence, like physical shit. Epilepsy and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and a bunch of different genetic conditions are all super comorbid with autism.
Yeah, it's the baseline.
Yeah,
The
that's why it's
baseline.
a spectrum.
Oh no, I said neurotypical. I meant neurodivergent.
I understood what you meant.
Yeah, I'm just saying
because we vibe. We're telepathic.
That's right. That's right. Like when we're texting each other and we like sometimes text the exact same thing, it's because we're reading each other's minds. Because we have autism.
Okay, I do want to say, like, so for the past 2 weeks, I've just been spiraling, no problem, no biggie. It happens, just a little spiral, little ditty. And like, yeah, like I was like kind of involved in group chat, but not a whole lot. And then Sonia like texted me, like, hey girl, are you okay? I'm like, oh yeah, just out of spoons. Like, she's like, okay, they'll show up.
And she's like, is Jessica okay? And I'm like, I think so. She sent me a TikTok, and she's like,
I know. I like randomly send it. Like, I'm like the messaging was very sporadic. Like it was just, I can hold this down long enough to like it. That's fine.
I was like, what point do I talk to Chris? Like, because I asked Maria, like, have you heard from Jessica? Like, no. I was like, oh shit. Like, and then I text you to see if you were like, okay, and then I got like a weird response about the spoons. I didn't know how to respond, so I was like,
I just said I was out of spoons. I was low on spoons.
Yeah, I was like, oh my, I don't know what this means, and like,
she's like, when we talk to
I spiral silently, guys. I apologize.
No.
I mean, you guys remember we used to be in bigger group chats, and every once in a while, I'd be like, hey guys, I gotta leave. I gotta just dip. Little ditty. Is this too much? I like looking at my phone, but not all these messages. I hate to be that guy. I'm spiraling here, so I tend to do that. It's okay. It's okay. I feel like once these people leave my fucking house, I'm talking about my family, my husband and children, then I'll be able to get back on a routine, and we'll be back to order.
No, I feel you. Like, this fucking Christmas break needs to go. I'm done.
But please, if you're listening, check out our Christmas variety show. I'll leave the link to the YouTube in the description, because that was my last like project to finish, and I spent all my hours in that and then just crashed for 2 weeks. So
yeah. Go watch the hard work.
Yeah.
And also, thank you to Stephanie Hurst, VIP Patreon. If you want to shout out, check that out. But thank you, Stephanie, for keeping on. If you're spiraling out, you're listening to us while you're doing it. And we will have our fundraiser that we did, our Christmas variety show. It'll be up on our website until the end of January, beginning of February, whenever I talk to our IT guy to change it. But everything else, to find out where to listen to us and all our socials, that's on our website too, opinionatedlushes.com.
Yeah. And don't forget to check out the Can Pod Awards.
Oh yeah, because we won.
Winners. What?
It's like
so wild.
You can watch my awkwardness at 13 minutes and 55 seconds in. It's exciting.
Yeah, I'll leave a link to the description right to that moment, so you can go right beside his thank you speech.
I was like, I'm so sure we recorded so many, and mine's the one that showed.
Well, it's because we each picked an award, and then we did the People's Choice together.
Yeah, but I was just like, oh my gosh, that's the one. We couldn't be another one.
No, which is good, because I feel like mine was so bad too. So I'm so glad we didn't win Society and Culture.
We'll just post them in our YouTube so people can watch them.
Oh yes,
where you guys
go? Patreon.
Yeah,
we'll post them for free on our Patreon.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. Smart.
Hey
market
guys,
it.
market
Yeah.
it.
Market it. All right. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Bye.
Good night, guys.